constant listeners. Have you ever longed to travel instantaneously from one place to another? Whether it's across the world or across the solar system and beyond, many of us have dreamed of the ability to teleport to a destination, removing the need for slow, tedious, expensive, or dangerous journeys. But leave it to world renowned horror scribe Stephen King to turn a dream into a nightmare. In his story entitled The Jaunt, from his excellent story collection, Skeleton Crew, King introduces us to the Oates family, who are preparing to depart from Earth to Mars via Jaunt Portal. While awaiting their turn to teleport, the father, Mark Oates, tells his children Ricky and Patricia the story of how the Jaunt technology was invented. He also tells them, in the fashion of a father trying to scare his kids with scary campfire tales, of how some living creatures, human or otherwise, met a terrible fate while traveling through jaunt portals. Since this is a King story, of course, things don't turn out well for the Oates family in the end. Please join me and my fellow fiction aficionados, Nikki, XJ, and Robert, as we transport you through the terrifying tale entitled The Jaunt. Gentlemen, tell me what you thought of The Jaunt, this tale from Skeleton Crew by Stephen King from the early 80s. Whoever wants to go first, chime in.
I want to hear from Nikki and Rob. The last time we did a Stephen King story, you guys were like, this thing is, never read Stephen King again.
All right. Nikki, Rob,
It's
thoughts. Nikki,
very,
Rob?
very impressive. Very impressive. Very skillfully constructed. That sort of story has to be constructed on the basis of telling a story which the teller already understands the meaning of, and you have to hold back your conclusion until just the right moment. And that's what King does. And then he gives a twist at the end. But quite apart from the twist at the end, which is also good and horrifying, the fact that he manages to spin it out and not let the cat out of the bag as to what the problem of the jaunt actually is, that's really good.
Okay, so far, not a condemnation as of yet from our one Stephen King not so uber fan. What about Nikki? Nikki, your
Yeah, I'm
thoughts?
no hater. I'm no hater tonight either. If I can talk, um, I really enjoyed the jaunt. I thought that it was well paced. Thought that the mystery in and of itself was interesting to follow. I think the characters were interesting. I think the twist at the end was well made, but it was expected. I didn't know exactly what was gonna go wrong, but I knew something was gonna go wrong. I mean, we spent way too long with them, like preparing for the jaunt, for it not to go badly,
Right. You've
right?
heard
And we
of
are talking, yeah,
yeah, you've heard of Chekhov's gun? Well, this was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Chekhov's
yeah,
jaunt
yeah,
portal,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah, right. It's the
Yeah, I knew
something's
that
gonna
guy.
go wrong.
He lived down the
You knew
street
that
in
guy?
Moscow. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
Chekhov. Yeah,
Yeah, old friend Chekhov.
I didn't. um, yeah. I also know Chekhov from Star Trek.
Right, same
Good friend
guy,
of mine.
right? Same thing.
Yeah, same guy. Yeah, it's a fascinating tale because it does everything that a short story should do, and it gives me the feeling that maybe Stephen King should just write short stories. That's what you should do. I actually watched an interview with him, um, talking about short stories and how he sees it as many authors who have ascended, let's say, who earned a big buck, they scoff at the idea of writing short stories anymore. They're focused on the novel, and he continues to uh, create anthologies of short stories. If, I am not sure if as of this day, but definitely at the time of the interview, and I can see uh, that he is master at it. He's master at setting up the situation, moving it through the world building. God, the world building in this story is done so well, and I like the idea that the main character is obscuring some of the more grisly detail of the situation from his children, and therefore creating a bit more of a mystery for us too, as we're following it along. Yeah, I mean, from the moment the conversation began to the very last second of them going out before the jaunt, amazing. One thing I would say though, maybe two things. Okay, number one, you as a parent should know the 101 rule of being in a dangerous situation. You always deal with your children first. Okay? If you're in an airplane and it's crashing, you put the mask on them first and then you do it on yourself. Okay?
Okay.
Like you're gonna
Yeah.
save the kid.
Yeah.
The manual says differently. The manual says like first put it on yourself and then see what's happening with the child. Look, the child is gonna like something terrible is gonna happen if you're not gonna keep up with what they're doing, especially in a heightened stress situation such as this. And if you know the jaunt is gonna be something where somebody can be locked in eternally and then go crazy, maybe take care of your children first.
Yeah, yeah, and that to me, I guess, exposed to me when I was reading, it was like the necessary flaw. It's a necessary flaw for the story to happen, but okay, so you have to depend on the fact that this person is going to inhale the. Here be spoilers, everyone who wants to maybe stop if you want to read the story and then come back. But spoiler alert, from here on out. But what are the chances that someone is going to hold their breath or not get, do they have a way to test to make sure you're asleep? Apparently not.
Right?
At
That was
least
gonna
for the
be my
story to,
second point. Where's
right,
the
sorry.
safety
No, no.
protocols? What are we
Right.
talking about? What do you mean he can just not like inhale the gas and like close his
Right.
eyes? They have no other way to check it. They're just like,
Yeah, right.
okay, we believe it. It's fine. Looks good to
Right.
me.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the safety culture in the 1980s are very different.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe,
Right.
but like, if somebody's going into surgery, I think even in the 1980s, they would be like, okay, let's actually test if our patient is not awake anymore. They're not going to be like,
Yeah, right.
okay, looks like he's fine, scalpel, like,
Right. Yeah,
uh,
right. He's asleep now. No need to poke him in the toe with a needle or something, like come
yeah,
on, like
give him a couple of
yeah.
slaps. His parents
Yeah.
are not awake anymore anyway. They're not going to judge you. Uh,
Right. Exactly.
you know what I mean? So yeah,
That was the second point.
It
Yeah,
was,
okay.
yeah. It's like a joint point, I guess, but it's two things, right? Like the dad kind of not doing it, right, and just being like, "Oh, look, it's fine. Look at me, Daddy goes."
Yeah,
Um,
right.
what's the mother doing? What
Right.
are you doing? And then the fact that the company has no way to check it. Those two things.
Yeah.
Kind of irked me. But otherwise, I think the tale is perfect. And for the world building alone, it deserves to be talked about. It deserves to be analyzed. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to think about after reading the Jaunt.
Stephen King redeemed so far. So
Yeah,
XJ, what
yeah,
are
yeah.
your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know if he's redeemed. The
But
marathon
his
was
short
pretty
stories.
bullshit,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
They're making a movie, guys. They're making a movie. I
Of
don't know.
this?
Not of the marathon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
They should
They
make.
should make a
They are
series, huh?
making a TV show of the John too. Actually, I looked it up.
really
Really?
interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
XJ?
very interesting. There's a couple points that Nikki brought up that is actually very interesting. One is, well, just one really, and that is the world building, which is very very interesting for me to hear because, as a very long time reader of Stephen King's novels, up until I think the last book I read was The Dome, and then after that I just kind of put him down and don't read him anymore. Wait,
Yeah.
Mr. Mercedes is after The Dome, right?
Yeah, I think. I think
I
you're
guess
right.
I guess then it's Mr. Mercedes.
Around about the same time. Okay.
I guess is Mr. Mercedes that is the last thing I read of him. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I can totally see the early version of the world building that he made later on. And I'm gonna be really honest and say that Stephen King's world building is really weird. It's really weird. Like I mean, like as a long time reader of Stephen King, I could totally see like the early prototype of. I think Anthony, you've read a few of his stories too, right? I think you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about, like that otherness in that space in between kind of thing, like the beam and all of that multiversal
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I've read a lot of. I'm a huge fan of the Dark Tower stuff. I really love his Dark Tower books, and yeah, it's he can it's sometimes it's like okay, sometimes it's corny. I feel like right. Sometimes it's hokey, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's like he really does when he's doing it right and when he's executing it well. This making the ordinary just slightly off kilter and just like really just taking the ordinary and skewing it
Yeah.
enough where you're like, it's like an uncanny valley effect
Mm-hmm.
for like
Mm-hmm.
literature,
Mm-hmm.
sort of, You're like, okay, something's really weird. Sometimes it's corny, but it works sometimes, when he's doing it. So I know what you're saying. It's hard to explain.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah.
have to read. You just have to read it for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, but
And because one of the things that he started doing was he started to have cameo appearances of characters from other books or
yeah,
or events,
yeah.
and he slowly tried to tie all these things up with like that void in between kind of thing, because there is the, I think he called it the Crimson King, I think.
Yeah.
That is like that presence that is in between the void. And I mean, like, reading the
Yeah.
Jaunt, I totally saw, like, because this isn't, he also wrote one, I can't remember what the name was, but it's about a bunch of passengers on an airplane that traveled to another
The
dimension. The
Langoliers. The
Langoliers.
Langoliers. Mhm.
He really likes this dimensional stuff, like the
Yeah.
unseen presence just beyond. Uh,
Yeah, he
That's
might be
not
the
world
first
building,
author
though,
to
is it?
kind of like a
Mm.
lot of authors now are like, especially like the Brandon Sandersons, like they're trying to connect all of their books in like a shared universe. But King might have been the first one to really kind of delve into that and start interconnecting all of his stories. Sorry, Robert, you wanted to make a point on something?
I was just interjecting that conjuring up a sense of beyondness is not, in my view, doesn't count as world building.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
you know
sure.
it's not centered on anything beyond. It's, in fact, it's the opposite. It's centered on us, but you have a feeling of something that's beyond us. But if you see, I haven't read the Dark Tower books, so you're rousing my curiosity here. Maybe he does world build in those. What I have read of his, he's gone to great lengths to avoid world building. Like, for example, the Tommyknockers, which has an alien spacecraft doing
Yeah,
things
yeah,
to us. Now that he deliberately avoids discussing the culture of the aliens, because he makes the alien into a sort of usurper of this ship. It's not the actual builder of the ship. So he
right.
doesn't actually tell us anything about the culture of the ship, if you see what I mean. That's a way of avoiding world building.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
sorry, go
yeah.
ahead,
Go
Anthony.
ahead. No, no, yeah, you're right. I mean, it really was through his the Dark Tower books, kind of starting around like the second or third book, really. He kind of it's weird. He wrote the first book in the series, The Gunslinger, as sort of just like an experiment or an oddity. And then like he kind of went back and rewrote The Gunslinger and then built he yes, through the Dark Tower series and like subsequent short stories and other works, it's like he starts unifying things in his universe. So yes, it was sort of like a retcon unification of a lot of his works through the Dark Tower series.
Mm.
So yeah, you're definitely not you're right, Robert. You're not he's not giving you that world building in the sense of in any of the other works until like he really starts uh, you know. And I wonder where that impetus came from. Maybe it was in his head. He's like, "Oh yeah, I can take, a character from this book, this book, this book," and like, he really gets into the Dark Tower is effectively like a multiverse
Yeah.
kind of story. where like he does start connecting it and like other books together,
Yeah.
across his oeuvre, as it were. So yeah, if you
Yeah.
ever get a chance to start reading it, yeah,
Because
The Gunslinger is a great book by itself, but yeah,
and I mean like he introduces like characters from other books like long before the Dark Tower actually, because I remember the first book I ever read from him was Firestarter,
okay,
and then
yeah,
Firestarter had a mention, like just one line in there's another book about, I cannot recall the name. There's another book about telekinesis, and in that book, there
yeah,
was a mention of this CIA experiment, or is it the FBI experiment? And it was very clearly pointing towards the Firestarter. And then
yes,
slowly,
that's true. Yeah,
he just started adding more and more of this stuff. And then you see in the Dead Zone, there are more mentions of all these other books if you actually go through and read it carefully.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so he started like stringing these things. I don't think he was consciously trying to world build. I think he just like thought it was a nice thing to do, to have like a cameo appearances, and then slowly
Yeah,
from there it just grew into
yeah, like an
his
actual
version
multiverse.
of a world building.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't. I'm like not that impressed with his world building, to be quite honest.
No, no.
Yeah.
It's more like the way he like. I guess there's two separate things we're talking about. There's like sort of the multiversal world building, sort of hints and drops and whatever, like from Dark Tower and other books where he's inserting characters. To the how he just shows us the world, his
Mm.
skewed view of how like he can take the ordinary world and and I think that's how, when horror is at its best, it does that.
Yeah.
It just slightly knocks things askew, the camera of like your focus on the world or your view of the world askew.
Yep.
um and yeah, so yeah, he's went but he can it's amazing how he can go so wrong. And I think like really he is, when he's at his best, it's in his short stories. I mean, I read the Tommy Knockers years ago, Robert, and I was like, I kind of enjoyed it to a point, but then it kind of got hokey. Like I couldn't stand like Dreamcatcher. Like just I don't understand some of the stuff he does. And when he's writing, sometimes he overdoes it with like these little inserts of like in parentheses, where it's like, he'll be talking about something and then he'll make a callback to something, he like some phrase over and over again in parentheses. And I'm like, Steve, enough. Just keep going with the story, man. Like, I don't, he does that in his Dark Tower books and trying to get through it. And I'm like, sometimes, like, but like the Dark Tower books, I think are good for all of that. But it's when he's writing his short stories, and I think short stories are such an underrated type of writing, where it's like, and you'd think they'd become more popular now rather than these massive books that like I know we always beat on Brandon Sanderson on this podcast, but
Do
it's
we?
like tomes and tomes of like, I don't know, I feel like we have, I don't know,
I
maybe.
think Anthony does.
All right, maybe it's just
honestly,
all of your
honestly,
versions
I
in my
mean,
mind.
I don't know if I want to beat on Brandon Sanderson. He's just like very forgettable to me. Like
Yeah, he's just
I
kind of
read
like
his
vanilla.
Mistborn, and then that's about it. And I don't really remember the story. And
Mistborn was great. Mistborn was great.
yeah,
I love Mistborn. It's his other stuff. Anyway, we'll talk about him. Stephen King. So, when he's when he's like, yeah, short stories I think are such an underappreciated thing. And you think with with attention spans shortening so much, now I think it's time again. Short stories probably should have their heyday again if it's
I
ever gone
I
away.
mean, I think short stories would be like is going to be amazing for Stephen King, just because his biggest problem, I feel, is he just can't stop. He's got verbal
Oh yeah.
diarrhea. He himself says so. I have
Oh
verbal
yeah. I think
diarrhea.
he says someone once accused him of having diarrhea of the word processor, right? Like, yeah, like so that was from way back in the day. He said that, but yeah, it's when he's writing short stories, and he's still releasing short story collections. I mean, he just recently released a few, like within the last few years, so he's still pumping out short stories. I haven't read all of these short story collections. I mean, my favorites are Night Shift and Skeleton Crew from like the early '80s. Like, if you if I think I recommend all of you, anyone listening, and you three guys, like if you want to read some of his best short stories. You can't go wrong with the early ones like Night Shift, Skeleton Crew, especially. And then there's like his novellas, I think are great too. The Long Walk, things like that.
That's the one that we
Um,
covered. These two
yeah, you
didn't
did.
like it.
Okay, well,
Is it not the marathon?
uh,
I can't
yeah,
remember
yeah,
the
yeah.
title.
Yeah.
It's about where they walk. They all like they're
Oh,
walking,
is
and
it the
it's
long walk? Anyway, that's the one that's getting adapted, and that's the one I hate.
okay. Anyway, but yeah, as for the jaunt, yeah, I mean, yes, getting back to like where these ideas like now teleportation. I mean, come on, you have the Portal video game.
Mm-hmm.
Like teleportation is such a trope of science fiction, and it has been for a while. And speaking of the jaunt, it's interesting. We just read an Alfred Bester story in Disappearing Act for one of our episodes recently. The jaunt, Stephen King, according to Wikipedia, Stephen King based the term the jaunt in Stars My Destination, the Alfred Bester novel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's what they called teleportation. There was the jaunting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a neat little parallel
Yeah.
with one of our recent episodes. But yeah, I mean, this technology, like, I don't know how. It seems like it would be fairly novel when the story was published first in 1981 in Twilight Zone magazine, of all things, but which seems appropriate.
Yep.
So it's this technology. But you think about like the only thing I can think of like around that time would be like also the Star Trek transporters had been around for like a few decades by then, that concept of that tech, and like the controversy over that technology, like the debates, like does it really transport you or does it annihilate one version of you and then reconstitute like another version of you in the second spot?
I'm thinking of this movie right now that really freaked me out when I saw it the first time, The Fly.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, The
It
Fly
really
is like,
freaked me out. Like
oh yeah,
I had sleepless nights for days, uh, hearing help me.
yeah. The Fly had that same concept of like the teleportation, like gone wrong. So it's yeah, and then the version from the Cronenberg version was like even more horrific, right? Like so, of course, everything Cronenberg is like horrific, and horrible body horror. So, but yeah, it's just this technology that the abuse of it, and something terrible is going to happen, but trying to conceptualize like just the fact of like forget transporters, which are a whole other thing with like the Star Trek version. But I'm sitting here reading the story, and I want to hear from you guys. Like, can you conceive of this? Your body teleports instantaneously, but to your mind, it's like a relative eternity. If you're conscious going through the Jaunt Portal, I mean, it's like I don't know. Can any of you conceive of such a thing? Like,
No,
it's
no. I mean, it is quite. Yeah, it's really like you said. It's very early King when he actually had good ideas at a time,
yeah,
right? And it was like,
yeah,
and this it is a really good idea too, and like the twist was like also very impactful because he's very clever about doing it because first of all he led you to believe that the kid that's going to cause problem was a girl, and then he baited and switched with the boy, but at no point did he cheat because
yeah,
he did lay down the grounds that the boy is going to be a problem, right? just
yeah,
before just before the jaunt itself. It was the way the boy's eyes lit up and all that stuff, and then he didn't shy away from uh because like the first time he described the guy that walked that convict that walked through the portal. It was just like the guy drew, said a few things, some one cryptic sentence and then that's it. But this, he actually had the boy give like a full-on episode there at the end, and it was just enough to give you a flavor of what could possibly be there, and then just kind of like dropped from there, and then let the reader's imagination go wild, which is really a very adroit way of handling horror, which is so different from his later work. Because part of the problem with his later books was that he over-explained stuff. I felt he ruined his own mystery. Like the Stand, the Stand was a great book if he had not went through the trouble of explaining things to us.
Well, I wouldn't say he explained it in the Stand, actually.
In the sense that he destroyed the mystery, whatever mystery there was.
Well, you
What
still,
mystery do you mean? The mystery of
I mean,
mystery,
like,
who the heck the villain was.
oh, okay.
yes, yeah, and it was like I mean, like the Stan was a great studying character. Like he later just became, to me, he just became a guy who wrote characters really well, but when it comes to plot, it wasn't that great. It was his early novels were the ones that I found was like really tight, not
Robert, you seem like you want to say something. Do you have thoughts? Or you're just disagreeing with XJ? He's like, how can I tear this apart? No, I agree. Like, yes, sometimes I'm like, okay, when reading King, yes, I'm like, dude, okay, it's great. You've shown me that this person is a human being over and over again. I care about them already. Just do something horrible to them now, please. Just to get some plot going. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, and it's amazing because some authors have the opposite. They have paper thin characters, but it's all plot. So it's like, definitely in his earlier novels that were thankfully shorter, except for like The Stand and It, but even in It, reading It was like, okay, we get it. These kids are losers and the bullies are tormenting them. And like, can we please just see the scary clown now? Like, but it's like, I read
God, man,
Firestarter.
it was like, it was a pretty controversial when it came out. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that whole scene that everyone knows about, now.
It was like,
But it's just like, okay, God. But I mean, yeah, I think he maybe just needs to like, and maybe as he continues to
your camera's
ripen, as they
shaking
say.
really wildly, Nikki.
Who, me?
No,
Oh, Nikki. Nikki,
Yeah,
are
it was
you
like,
in a
it was
windstorm?
like going like that.
Okay.
Are you having an earthquake?
That's right. I am the earthquake.
You are the storm, the coming storm.
That's right.
Yeah, I think he might need to stick to short stories. I want to read some of his recent short story collections. Maybe we need to do that. Like, pick his most recent short story and read another King story from like 2024 or something.
And
see
if his short story really is his thing, or he just kind of like lost it already.
Yeah.
I
I don't know
think
anybody. Go ahead, Robert.
Sorry, I was just sometime we ought to do The Fall of Chronopolis by Barrington Bailey, because in a way that takes up the idea of ultra-dimensional hell, if you like, where Stephen King leaves off. In The Fall of Chronopolis, you actually follow the characters as they go into what he calls the strat, the temporal substratum, which is eternity, really. That's a really, really great book. We could do that sometime.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, The Fall of
1987,
Chronopolis.
so it could have influenced Stephen King in this story if it was 1980.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind. For sure, we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. Like, I had not really, off the top of my head, I had not really thought of or knew of any earlier stories that dealt in the way that, except for I've never, I think I read The Stars My Destination ages ago, but I hadn't really remembered the jaunt technology from that. So, but King obviously took it in a horrific way. But I don't know. Could any of you, like Robert, Nikki, do you feel like you could occupy your mind so you wouldn't go insane if you were stuck in this relative eternity in the jaunt portal for millions of relative years? I don't know.
I think to a certain extent, all of us human beings have a hubris when we're not encountered by a situation where we would say, yes, of course, I would make different choices and I would think of a better way to get it out of it. And of course, I could occupy myself. So, in my mind, yeah, definitely. But if faced with that reality, I think the answer would be quite different. I definitely,
Yeah.
I'd literally, I think the issue would be is that you just would not be able to remember shit. Like nothing, right? Because it's not like you're there a year or you're there for 10 years or it's so insurmountable that you go crazy. So
Yeah.
at some point, no matter how much acumen you have, there's no new information coming in. There's no new experiences to be had. You're just there alone forever until that forever suddenly ends. So
I think
I don't.
sorry.
You could.
Yeah, I think actually the boy gave us some hints that there's more than just like empty space and endless time in the joint,
Mm.
in that
Okay.
dimension in
Really?
between. Yeah.
I got to like I'm not. I hang around a lot of nerds, but I don't know much about the Stephen King universe, such as it is. But I distinctly remember that if you see the macroverse, your hair goes white.
The
So
what?
them like his big universe, the Stephen King universe. If
Right,
you
right.
see the in between thing,
Oh, okay.
your hair goes white, right? So I was
Mm.
like, okay, so these guys saw that thing. I mean, obviously at the time that's not what Stephen King was thinking, but that's what he
Right.
made it be, I guess. That's what I got from it.
I mean, I think, well, to answer your question, Anthony, I think I wouldn't be able to stand much of it at all because like I would quite quickly go crazy just because like it's one thing to be able to occupy my mind and all that stuff, right? But also the thing is the body is not moving. Right? That's the sense that I get
Oh yeah.
because your body is
Yeah. Like
like because your body is
yeah.
for your body. It was like instantaneous, right? So
Yeah. And it's almost like you think like, okay, maybe you're yeah, is it what's it like you're a disembodied consciousness. So it's interesting that you said like you're speculating on like is the Crimson King in there or something, like is that kind of what you were hinting at later, or maybe he retconned that because it's like yeah, what's in the
I have no clue. I mean, like
yeah, I mean, like
because
Nick, go ahead.
because the boy actually did say it's more than just eternity.
Yeah, it's like he
Is it?
said
I mean, he
longer
just
than you
said it's
think.
longer than you think. Yeah.
Longer than you think, that
Yeah,
dad. Yeah, he said longer than you think. So
something along those lines. Something
yeah.
that hints that there is more to
Hmm.
it than just eternity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting interpretation.
Well, you could dream, couldn't you? I mean, there's nothing to stop you dreaming, I suppose.
Well, that's the question. If your body really isn't there to fall asleep, like I don't know, are you even able to fall asleep? If you think about that, you're awake and you can't sleep, you can't dream for, a relative infinity. Yeah, you couldn't dream if you have no body to fall asleep at that during that time period.
Let's see.
So there's not even the release of sleep.
Yeah, I would quite quickly go crazy. Not
Yeah,
gonna
I
lie.
think that's the
I
I think that's
I
true. I
If
think we all would.
Okay, all right. If let's approach this like we're really doing this. So if there's literally no input whatsoever, then I think we're all screwed. But if there's some sort of I don't know, there's a sound at a certain point, or some looping thing that you hear, anything at all that does give some sort of a feedback, and then it's not just a constant void. I think I could play D&D with myself for a month.
a
So I'd be
month
like,
a month is pretty long.
Because
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna make up rules where the different sounds means that I have to like stop counting in my head for a dice roll if I need a dice roll, right? So then I would create a story based on the inputs that I get, right? Like I would create the story itself, but I would determine whether I succeed or not on a certain action to do with the whatever visual or auditory input that there would be. But if there's nothing like that whatsoever, oh man, yeah, I think you're done in
mean,
5 minutes.
Yeah, but can you keep that up for 1,000 years, a million
No, that's
years?
what I'm saying.
Right,
1 month.
yeah.
I'd give myself a month. I think I'm being
I,
very generous.
Before you,
But
before you go
I wouldn't
crazy.
even give myself a week because it's like it's like solitary confinement but worse. You know,
Right. You're just a mind with like nothing but yourself. Like,
I have no mouth but I must scream.
oh, yeah.
I've played D&D in my head for like straight 8 hours on a really long flight where I could talk to nobody else and I would just be like, okay, the green light has shined. That means that like I succeeded on this roll, whatever the hell I was doing.
Yeah, right. But
So, you know, not like I've been in the jaunt, but this is what I would use as the experience that I had before.
so you'd stay
Um,
sane for about a month, maybe, and then
I mean, again, I'm being very generous to myself.
yeah,
But I think that's the maximum. That's the real maximum I could imagine.
yeah, yeah.
Even if any at all. But then maybe I go so crazy that I would think that like the month hasn't passed, so I just continue playing and then somehow I survive.
Hmm. And maybe go ahead. Go ahead,
So
Robert.
in Jack Vance's tale Morion, the sorcerer Morion is marooned on a planet for eons, and the only thing he has to amuse him are inscriptions in an unknown language, when there's no chance of him being able to compare them with any other language to read them. So what he does is he invents a series of imaginary languages and compares them with the inscriptions, and finally he finds a correspondence. So that's how he gets to read it. That gives you some idea of
Wow.
how long he was there. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, wow, okay.
That sounds like
Yeah,
a
I
very long
mean-
time.
I've never read that story, so yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I mean, at least he had something to occupy himself on that planet, right? I mean, so to keep him from going insane. So, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's horrific to think about it. You're trying to conceive it, and you're like, oh yeah, that would be pretty bad. You're like, oh, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe it's like, and even like, could you imagine like giving up hope of ever escaping this void, and then you're out, like But it's been to you millions of years or whatever.
It's
however
like
long.
you want to go to sleep but your eyes can't close because your body's stuck.
Yeah, and then
That's
all of a sudden you
terrible,
come
man.
back when all of a sudden you've given up hope maybe eons ago, and then you're all of a sudden you're back. Yeah, you probably would be like you would drop dead of relief, let alone
Yeah.
horror. Like
But Rick is still capable of forming a sentence, isn't he? So
A few sentences.
Yeah.
that suggests that he still exists as a coherent mind, which either means that he's terrifically strong or that there was some sort of relief. He hasn't gone completely nuts.
I think it's the fact that you like had a mission. He wanted to tell his dad what it was like.
Could be.
yeah, either. Well, I don't know if if it's not completely nuts to just scream like one sentence over and over again and then claw your own eyes out. I don't know. You have an interesting definition of
Hey,
sanity,
it's way better than
Robert.
most other things that were described, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe it's because they were
Except
all
for the
adults.
convict.
Maybe kids going through can retain some coherence because they're still kids. But maybe
Yeah.
adults going through are hopeless.
I also like the actual clawing of the eyes. I mean, like, it's a very usual horror trope of somebody mad doing that. But I think in this context, it makes 100% sense, right? Because you literally
Yeah.
never could close them. So you're like, get rid of this. Get rid of this. I don't want to see anymore. I don't want to experience this sensation anymore, right? So it was pretty good. What I found most fascinating though was the world building, specifically the stuff that he saved right at the end. making my mind wander. You know, like the idea that the Jaunt could be used by the criminal organizations, like they have some sort of way to connect to the main pipeline and move in ways where people can't track them, or you know, torture. Well, not torture, kill people, right, by sending them into Jaunts, or making bodies disappear where there's no exit. They just send them into the Jaunt state, and they never come back. You know, that I found fascinating. I would love to read another short story or a book where we go with the criminal element and they use this stuff.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you want to actually read the book, Nikki. Be careful what you wish for.
I mean, I didn't say it has to be made by Stephen King, but I do really like the idea of the author ruminating on the idea during the short story, and then inserting something, being like, yeah, I could see in this world that there would be like criminals that would use this technology, because why wouldn't they? I mean, they use every sort of technology that they can get their hands on in the real world. So
I
it's
actually found
definitely
that. I
happening.
actually found that to be a little bit more on the far-fetched side, to be quite honest.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can dispose of people that way, but why though? You could still finish them off with a bullet. It still does the same thing. If you're trying
Yeah, yeah, but
to,
then the body's lost forever, right?
You're getting rid of the
They do
evidence.
it on
Yeah.
dead bodies. You send a dead body, it can never be found by the police.
that's true, except that uh, the one person who actually supposed to have disappeared his wife through that manner got found out anyway.
Yeah, yeah, but because he sent her alive, we're talking about a dead body. They just send a dead body into space without having an exit point.
Well,
That
sure. I
is lost
mean,
forever.
disposing of people that way, sure. What I meant was murdering someone through that particular method. It seems like unless there is some sadism involved, some trying to get back at somebody involved, that seems a little bit far fetched to me. You know, you could. It's just like so much more efficient to put a bullet through the person's head
Yeah,
than.
I the thing
Efficiency
with
is not everything.
the guy shoving his wife through, I almost feel like that also is a skill like Stephen King has, where it's like dark humor. So I think that was meant, and come to think of it, some of this again, this guy's kind of telling his kids these stories. So he's the dad's kind of an unreliable narrator, I think, too,
Mm,
right? Did anyone else get
Hmm.
that impression that
Yeah.
he's kind of telling sort of apocryphal tales to like his kids? Or it's like, oh yeah, or like it could be rumors about this stuff. Like maybe there was some guy I don't know, but whether there really was some guy who shoved his wife through. Maybe that was just a tale that like disgruntled husbands tell each other. Like, yeah, I heard some guy shoved his old lady into one of these portals just to get rid of her. Like almost like
Yeah,
is
she
this
came back
really?
anyway, screaming.
Yeah, yeah, right. Could you
Get me
imagine
another
like
beer, Joe.
yeah,
Yeah, I get
right?
what you
Like
mean.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know, but I
Uh,
just found the idea of, oh wait, has Anthony taken a trip through the jaunt?
he asked.
uh-oh.
Oh, he's back.
How was the
What was it?
jaunt,
What was it like,
Anthony?
Anthony?
Oh,
What was it
longer
like,
than you
Anthony?
think. Longer than you think.
Longer than you think, Nikki. Longer than you
Longer.
think. Oh shit.
Oh wow.
Okay.
All right. Oh hey, so I'm instantaneously back. Yeah, no, it's interesting because it's like, okay, so the dark humor is, oh well, you can't prove that she's dead, Your Honor. Like so that would the
That's
so
pretty
was
good.
that premeditated? Was he saying like the husband's like, oh maybe they're you can't really prove if they're dead or not in there, so I'm gonna shove her in, and that's my excuse. That's my or that's how I'm gonna get
Yeah,
off on the
yeah,
murder
yeah.
charge. She's not
I think I,
technically dead.
I think you're quite right in the idea that this might be a long tail. At the very least, the ending of it, the way he
Yeah.
explained it to his kids, because maybe the court just found him guilty anyway. Like like nothing seemed to suggest until that point that there was like a possible way for somebody to just suddenly reappear somewhere screaming from the Jaunt or something, right? Because that,
Right.
you know, he just like writes that and it's like a sentence, and it's not really explained further, or there's no explanation going in there, so it might just be like a throwaway. But it did throw me for a loop, and I was just thinking like, okay, so
Yeah.
if there is no end point, if you just send there conscious and there's no B to your point A, does that mean you're everywhere and nowhere at once? And that's how she was able to appear next to her husband, right? Like, if we take it at face value. But I do believe that you are correct there, Anthony, that it is maybe more there for the shock value for the children. I think the
Yeah.
husband, the father, he uh, overdid it. He made the jaunt way too interesting in the end, and that's why his kid died. So, you know, there you go.
Right.
There's the lesson. That's the
Yeah.
lesson of the story. Don't make stuff too interesting when it's super dangerous, kids. Uh,
Yeah, and I mean, unless like they change the safety standards, and it's like, okay, we're gonna prick
I know,
everybody in the
it's so
toe,
weird.
right?
Yeah, that last
Or
one.
like,
Also the idea that they had no like. All right, it is 1 in a million chance that somebody does go in there fully, like conscious. So you're telling me that they don't strap the people anyway, just for that like 1 millionth a chance? Everybody, like just because it's a precaution, you're telling me there's gonna be no restraints on the person. He's just gonna wake up, like because clearly
hmm,
the objects get through fine. Clothing gets through fine. Why couldn't you just put like some handcuffs on him so he doesn't start clawing his eyes out or something? Right?
yeah,
If there's like a 1 in a million chance, yeah, it is 1 in a million chance, you'd still have to have those precautions if you were a company. Like there's no way this wouldn't be a thing. There's just a lot of stuff. If you really sit down and think about the ending, the shock, like when the shock value wears off, there's a lot of things where you're just like,
yeah. Here's a question: what are they gonna do to that kid when they wheel him off? Are they gonna experiment on him if he stays alive? Like, there's like, what happens to they might be like scientist mind, like, okay, this kid's crazy,
You
but he's
know,
survived.
actually,
He's yeah.
that brought up a point. Something that I was wondering about when I was reading a story, and that is, did they throw what's the name? What's the guy's name? Victor Karuni, the guy that discovered the method.
Oh,
Did,
the
did they
inventor.
throw him through the portal?
Yeah, right.
because
I
because
think that's
he
exactly what
was
they did.
described as being like becoming like a shadow of his former self, kind of thing, right? Yeah, just goes around and waves at people, and then that's it. Oh, now I'm wondering, what did they do to him?
Yeah, they don't instead of paying him, instead of buying his invention from him, they just like, oops, like the government threw him in. Like, oh well, I guess he won't file those patents, But yeah,
I
interesting.
think they made him read The Long Walk. That's what they did.
Uh, Gosh, maybe if you spend an eternity, Nikki, in between the Jaunt portals, you'll come to like the long walk.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the only thing that I can read in the eternity, for sure. I mean, that will be my
Uh,
favorite book. I'll remember all of the characters. I mean, to be fair to The Long Walk, there was one really good chapter there, and it's like during the night when they're running, and the bully guy just goes crazy, and he's like behind them, and he's like screaming and stuff. I was like, yeah, okay, this is it. This is creepy. This where this is going? Is this how crazy it's gonna start getting? Awesome. And then just went back to like, and then they walked a bit more. Then one guy fell off and like his leg broke. Oh, the humanity! You know. So.
uh, maybe not his
It's
best.
not. Hey,
Yeah,
I don't have a published book. I don't have a leg to stand on. Like, at the end of the day, I understand that I'm just a tiny little critic here, talking about a guy
can't
who
all.
writes like 5 books a day or some shit. Like, I don't
Yeah,
really
right.
know. Like, Stephen King has so much stuff written out. I have to commend him on that fact alone.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's crazy. Every time I think he's finally put down his pen and called it quits, something still comes out.
yes, that's true. Like, because I'm like, yeah, I was just researching his work recently. I'm like, how many short stories has he published recently? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like one of the more recent ones was like, what, You Like It Darker, or like, that was one of his short stories I'd never heard of, and I think there's one after that. So he's pumping them out. Everything's Eventual is another short story
At that
collection.
point, it's like I think writing's not just a passion anymore; it's a obsession.
Hey, isn't it always? I guess for some of
Yeah.
us, but I don't know. So, any other thoughts on the story that we haven't touched on that you guys want to bring up?
Well, I would agree with Robert and Nikki that the pacing of the story is pretty tight. Yeah, this is like you said. This is definitely one of King's. This is King at his best when he didn't have when he's constrained and he didn't have like the freedom to just write whatever he wants. And I think that is the beauty of short stories, which is constraints. That's actually
Yeah, so the last one that he published that was a short story, by the way, is called The Extra Hour.
Yeah, I mean, he has so many collections that he's been putting out, and just novels. I mean, all he does is write. Just like whatever.
And I don't know, man. It's like every time I thought that's it. This is the last novel from King. Couple years later, there's another one, and that's kind of why I stopped reading. Actually, because
77 years old. Hear that, George R. Martin? He's 77 years old, and he's writing like one book every second.
Yes.
I'm sorry, George. You get so much hate, but at this point, you gotta own up to it. You know what I mean? In his latest blog, by the way, he was like, he had a breakdown. George R. R. Martin. He was just like, everyone's telling me that like they don't care about this other stuff. They don't care about this. The thing that I'm doing here, they don't care about the wild cards and blah blah blah. They only want to hear about Winds of Winter. But the thing is, I care about them.
Right.
I don't think that's a good argument, George. People still don't care about all that other stuff.
Yeah, I think he did he's like, you're right. I admit it. I don't care about Game of Thrones anymore. You're right. Like he just went like kind of reverse psychology at first about it too. He's like, you're right. I like all this stuff better. I think he's like, you're right. I give in. Yes, like so. But anyway, yes, he could take a lesson from old Steve. Like maybe you just need to finish the damn books. Like
I mean,
drop everything else. Finish that crap.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like people should just give up on George R. R. Martin already. He's not.
I totally have.
He's not going to publish that book. Yeah, it's just never coming out. So why?
Speaking of an eternity, we've all been stuck in the George R. R. Martin portal, Jaunt Portal of like waiting for his next book to come out.
I stopped waiting a long time ago.
Right? Yeah,
okay,
I know.
Wait. Oh my God. So he already published something in 2025. This crazy Stephen King guy.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like
never flinch. I'm never flinching, Stephen. I'm never saying a bad word about you, pal. Really.
He's a machine.
Christ. Stop it. Get some help.
Man.
It's like a sexaholic, but like with words. Like
right.
Your hands are gonna fall off. I'm worried. Oh my God.
He's a wordomaniac. Yeah.
Wordomaniac.
Every time I thought that's it. No more books from Stephen King, and then another one pops up. It's like he grows them on trees or something.
Did you ever read the story of him getting hit by the guy? He got T-boned by a guy years ago. At this point, Stephen King was walking along the side of a road, and he got hit by someone driving a van.
He wrote a book based off on that. From Buick 88 or something like that, or is it Christie?
Yeah, from a Buick 8, maybe or something. But you thought that was going to be the end of him, But like after that, he didn't even. That probably sped him up. That probably made him. He had a flash of mortality, and he's like, I gotta write even more.
How many years do I have left? I need more.
Yeah.
Wait, I know what happened. he has the deal with the devil, and the devil basically gave him a number of books. Okay, and he's just like, okay, whatever, man. I'm just going. I don't want to go to hell.
Right. Maybe it's like the deal was, if you stop writing, you will die. And I have a
Oh
soul.
crap! Imagine it's like year 2000,
And he's
647.
still writing.
Stephen
Oh
King
my god.
is on his
Stephen King.
9,563rd book.
Actually, you know what?
Right.
I have this feeling that there could still be books published after his death.
Oh, you mean like unfinished stuff? Or
No,
like
no. He probably
near
has.
completion?
He probably has books banked in. You know.
Yeah,
I just
well, hey,
imagine he doesn't
kid
even like write that fast anymore. He just went super fast like 20 years ago. So all he does for the publisher, they're like, call him. He's like, oh yeah, I'm almost finished with the mayor. Yeah. Almost done. It just says like draft circa 2002 or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
don't kid yourself.
go.
Like, they're gonna program an AI on all his work,
Aw.
so it will keep writing once he's dead.
They
right?
don't need
Yeah.
it. He's faster. He's like
That's
he's
right.
gonna
He's
keep
faster
going.
than an AI.
Yes,
He writes
Gatling
faster
gun
than
of
an AI.
yeah, Gatling gun of words, my man.
Poor
I
Stephen
I
King.
really want to know what his daily routine is like. Like when does he stop writing, or when does he start?
Yeah, I
Interesting.
mean, how many words a day? Like, it's got to be. I wonder how many words a day he legit writes. Like, seriously, it's got to be more than 2,000, right? What's the rule of thumb? Is
Bro,
2,000 words a
I
day?
don't know.
or
I
something?
could,
Bro,
bro, like
Yes, sir.
like 200 words.
way you
If I
said
if
bro.
I can do 200 words a day, I would consider myself like good job.
fast. Yeah.
What do you guys think of? Okay, so since we're spiraling here, have you guys read? Have you guys read On Writing, his writing
Yeah,
advice
yeah,
book?
I
His
did.
writing.
Some of
I
it.
think it's great. Like,
I
I
do
think I've
too.
learned a lot from his. Yeah, I think
I never read it. What is it called?
you should check
On
it out.
Writing.
On Writing. It's just Stephen
On
King.
Writing.
On Writing. You should definitely read it. I think his advice is solid. You know, it's a little bit autobiographical, but like it's funny, and I think it's very good advice. I mean, it's solid.
Have
kind of
you,
Is
advice
the
for
appendix
anyone.
just filled with like hand creams he uses to make sure his hands don't wither away? From
It's only
color
this thick.
typing?
It's
It's
only a few hundred.
Have you read it
It's
before,
not
Robert?
Yeah, it's
Have you read On Writing, Robert?
I probably read most of it, if not all of it. I remember it being reasonably good. Yeah, it didn't change my
Yeah.
life or anything. But
No, but I think it's
Maybe
solid
when
advice.
maybe when I finish it, we can do a podcast on it and talk about it. Let's see.
Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
I will read it. I mean, if it did,
Absolutely.
look, I don't care about the quality. If the man at 77 made another book in 2025 and 25 is only halfway there, like, holy moly, what the? What is this guy? What is he on?
Right. Like
That's our lesson.
every time I think I get the idea that this is the last book. This is the last book, and then another one pops up.
Yeah.
It's like exactly as you said. He's like the exact opposite of George R.R. Martin.
Yeah. So maybe that's a lesson for all of us. You know, any of the things that you think are meant blocking you from writing, just do it. Just write it. Just get it out.
Just be Stephen King, man. He's
Just
called
write.
King for a reason, baby.
right. All right. So
Damn.
maybe we've reached the end of our own jaunt portals here. I don't know. Unless there's any other thoughts you want to bring up, gents. Maybe is it time for the number scale for the rating here? The time. Who wants to
Okay.
start?
I'll give it a 8 out of 10. It's a really enjoyable short story. And it's not that long. It's like 16 pages, and I was surprised. I was like expecting double that, just because.
Are we
it's
sure this is
King.
Stephen King?
Yeah. I was like, 16? Really? Stephen King?
Yeah.
But it's a good
It is
choice, man.
possible.
It's a good pick. I really liked it.
Cool. I'm glad I could have introduced you guys to it, and definitely check out. Listen, do yourselves a favor. Read Skeleton Crew. I just went into a Barnes Noble for the first time in a while the other day. You know, I
They
know it's
still
the Evil
exist?
Empire. Yeah, they do. They're building more of them. Actually, they're building more of them. For God's sake, they must be doing something right. But yeah, I mean, and there was a copy of a newly minted, like new edition of Skeleton Crew on the table right near the front door. And I'm like, oh man, and I flipped through it, and just like all the titles that were in there. So Night Shift and Skeleton Crew. If you read No Other King, check those out. But anyway, so we got an 8 from XJ, 8 out of 10. Robert, what do you think? Score?
I think I'll give it an 8.5,
Mm.
which is pretty low for me, but I do think it's a very good story.
Okay. Nikki, our biggest
Uh,
fan,
I'll-
Stephen King fan.
Yeah, I mean, from zero to hero over here. I think I'll give it a 9. I think I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Whoa.
I think
okay.
it's very well made. I think the world building that he does in those 16 pages is something that a lot of authors should be very jealous of. The amount of stuff that he packs it into, the believability of most of the stuff that goes on. Very well done. My problem
Yeah.
is the ending and everything surrounding the ending. Everything else seemed fine. Then the ending introduced so many issues when you stop for a second that you just have to take a point away from it. I mean, like, yeah, it's just like logically a lot of things don't make sense, but it doesn't matter. And this is why I only take 1 point and not like 2 or 3 or whatever. Because
Yeah.
when I finished it, I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
This was great. This was a great experience. It's only after, because I had to sit down and think about it and analyze it, because I was preparing to talk to you. I reread it and I was like, wait, the hell? What are you
Yeah.
doing, man? Don't,
That's
don't,
so.
no,
That's so
no.
interesting because plot loopholes are usually my thing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And
Oh,
then,
but you
and
know,
then,
Nikki's looking for every plot hole in a Stephen King story he can find, so
yeah,
he
yeah,
won't like,
exactly.
so you
I'm like,
don't have to
ah,
like it.
King.
But,
My arch
well,
nemesis.
maybe it's just because I'm so used to plot loopholes from Stephen King.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
mean,
Nikki's like,
honestly, I would
God.
accept 5 loopholes if you can finish your series, right? So
Right.
but Stephen King may have a different problem. He can't finish the series, not because he can't
Right.
write another book. It's just he can't stop writing books. So
Right.
maybe it's the other side of the coin. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we
Anyway,
can put both. Go ahead. Yeah. So you gave him a 9 out of 10, huh? Right?
yeah,
9
yeah.
out of 10. All right.
What's your
Maybe
score,
they can
Anthony?
like. Well, maybe they can like put both of them in like a fly transporter, like from The Fly, and they can merge.
The
They can merge
perfect
Stephen.
author emerges.
They merge Stephen King and George R. R. Martin into the perfect
That
author that
that
finishes
is
books.
that is a scary. You, actually, you could probably
Yeah.
just like get ChatGPT to do an amalgamation of the two of them, right?
Oh God. Yeah.
That's
There we
horrifying.
go.
Seriously,
There we
someone
go.
would. It's probably already said, ChatGPT, please finish Winds of Winter for me. Like,
There's
somebody's. That would be better at
actually,
this point.
if anyone is interested in it, there is a project being done by Preston Jacobs on YouTube where he has basically summoned all of the authors of the internet that are interested in this, and he himself is the editor, and they're going through what they would think the Winds of Winter for them would look like, and they're going through chapter to chapter. It's taking a very long time, but I've actually listened to a couple of them, and I was very surprised by just how well structured and well made it is, and how many callbacks it has to the actual books without it being like weird or nonsensical. Like the people are really putting their hearts out for this, and I would recommend, even if you don't care about the idea that this thing isn't
That's like
finished,
the
just as fascination.
that's
It's
like the
just
mother of all fan fiction right there.
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah, that would be the mother,
I'll
absolutely, the
I'll
mother
I'll
and the
send
father of.
I'll
Yeah,
send
send
you
us the link.
guys one of those. I mean, maybe we could even do a podcast on it. I think that would be funny.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, it serves him right. Like George R. R. Martin is like Pygmalion. Like he has fallen so much in love with this thing that like he's become entranced by his world. So it's like, and like as evidenced by the last couple books in it. where it was just so much filler. It seemed like. I mean, okay, it was interesting that he's fleshing out his world, but he's so in love with his creation that's the plot has been lost. Anyway, the Jaunt, my score
Yeah,
is
what's your score? Yeah.
I also give it a 9 out of 10
Mm.
for
Oh.
the Jaunt. I think it's a masterfully told, just well constructed story. Stephen King at his best. Do yourselves a favor if you hate Stephen King like Nikki, go try some of his short fiction, and you will fall in love too with Stephen King, the short story writer. New talent out of Maine. Go check him out.
New talent out of me.
Anyway,
I, I've garnered a new nickname. I feel on the podcast, Nikita the Strawman Zuev here. Like, okay, fair enough.
Nikki the Kingslayer.
Kingslayer
no,
has a
honestly,
nice
I mean,
ring to it. I'll take it.
Kingslayer, yeah. I mean, I'm not slaying Stephen King.
No,
Are you kidding
I
me?
know.
Have you seen what he's done?
I
Man,
kid because I tease because I love.
Well, thank you very much. No, but irregardless of the quality of whatever I think of his writing, it is commendable how much he's writing still at 77.
Yes, amazing.
Churning out books.
The guy is a
on
machine.
almost a yearly basis. Yeah, he is a
He
machine.
is a machine.
He is a machine. He's the earliest AI.
I'm not. That's
SK1.
like. I'm not sure that's praise.
Well, it's what I said.
A backhanded
Steven,
compliment
you
if
got
I
a
ever heard
problem?
one.
Come to Stuttgart. We'll talk about it.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much once again for a scintillating, entertaining, and hopefully illuminating conversation for all of our dear constant listeners out there. So, with that, I would say signing off on behalf of all of my comrades in fiction appreciation. Thank you once again for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. All that stuff. XJ, am I missing any other plugging terminology?
No. No.
You know, all the things.
All the things.
Smash that like button, as the kids say these days. And we will see you on the next broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else listening.
Yeah.
Farewell.